OK, let's talk about the Taoiseach's interview on the Late Late Show on Friday night. I have to confess now, I wasn't sitting in watching Ryan Tubridy interviewing Brian Cowan, but Sive McCarthy, you certainly were. What did you think of the interview?
First of all, no, I wasn't. Right, I have subsequently, of course, seen some of it, but you must be joking. The thing for me is, Karen, I thoroughly disapprove of the Taoiseach being on the Late Late Show at all. I think it demeans the office to have the Taoiseach on a light entertainment programme at a time of national crisis. We're sitting here talking about the collapse of the banking system and the economy, and the Taoiseach's on the same programme as Brian McFadden and Joan Collins. I mean, what does that say to you about how seriously he's taking the situation? If the Taoiseach wants to talk to the country about important issues of the day, then go on prime time, go on the 6-1 News with Brian Dobson, but don't go on with
the Wide Angle with Karen Coleman.
Well, come on the Wide Angle with Karen Coleman, but don't go on the Late Late Show with Ryan Tubridy, who's more interested in how Ryan Tubridy sounds than he is in anything that the Taoiseach could possibly have to say. But in fairness to
Ryan Tubridy, the Late Late Show has always had that mix. Over the years, it's had plenty of political interviewees and discussions as well. So it's not necessarily anything different from the way the Late Late has operated.
But I'm not, the Late Late Show can do what they like, and they can invite whomever they wish to have on. What I'm saying is that, for me, okay, the Taoiseach, right, is somebody who's standing there. We've just spoken about leadership and, whatever in government. And for me, I think it trivialises the office, it trivialises the problems of the nation, right, when the Taoiseach just goes on the Late Late Show, which is a light entertainment programme, to talk about those things with Ryan Tubridy is not an investigative or serious political journalist. So what he's going to, the only thing Ryan Tubridy can reasonably ask the Taoiseach that will make any sense is, where did you go on your holidays, and who do you fancy to win Big Brother? I mean, seriously, that's the level at which Ryan Tubridy is operating. So I don't understand why the Taoiseach has to be harsh on the Taoiseach or harsh on Ryan Tubridy.
I think harsh on Ryan Tubridy.
It's a bit harsh on Ryan Tubridy, and I think the notion that the Taoiseach should only speak to the nation through 6-1 News or from the
Wide Angle
from the Dáil is one of the problems that are one of the things that has got Brian Cowan to an 11% satisfaction rating. I think the reason that he did the Late Late Show, whatever the success or otherwise of it might have been, is that he wanted to speak to as many people as possible, and half the country was watching, and it was an opportunity for him to talk directly to them. There is, I think, a great sense in the national debate that an awful lot of people have not fully realised the extent of the financial crisis faced by
So what did you think of his
finances.
performance?
I thought he had a very weak first half of the interview. I think perhaps Ryan Tubridy interrupted him a little bit too frequently in the early part of the interview, but that wasn't the central weakness for the Taoiseach. I thought the central weakness for the Taoiseach in the first part of the interview was that there is no good answer for Brian Cowan to the question, why are things so bad in our public finances now? When you've been finance minister for 3 years and Taoiseach for a year, there isn't a good explanation from Brian Cowan's point of view. Part of the reason, it's perfectly clear to anyone who looks at it, that part of the reason that the crisis in the government's finances, as distinct from the banks and as distinct from the recession in the real economy, part of the reason for the public financial crisis is poor financial management at a time when Brian Cowan was finance minister. That having been said, I think he finished the interview quite well.
Dr. Frank Sullivan, you watched it as well. What did you think of his performance?
I have to confess I did. I don't know what that says about my social life at the moment, but I did see the interview, and I must say I thought it was a lost opportunity for Mr. Cowan again. I think that I don't agree with Sive that this is an appropriate forum to appear in. I think he badly needs to get out there and reconnect with the people, and this would have been a great forum to do it. The articles that I read this morning about it seemed to suggest that he had a perception he was being mugged.
Yes, the Sunday Independent is leading with a story, Taoiseach upset at late mugging.
I think the Sunday Indo is a bit upset at the late mugging.
Yeah, and I think it's more to do with Jodie Corcoran's perspective than it is, because it's not appearing in any other paper.
Yeah,
so it doesn't sound like Owen O'Neill issued a press release to say that like Taoiseach was upset by the mugging.
Anyway, Frank Sullivan, yes.
I think Ryan Tubridy asked some pointed questions, and he might have asked them at a kind of a pacey rate, but let's face it, Mr. Cowan has been interviewed more than once, and I would have thought that he, at this stage in his career, he'd be well able to handle the pace of an interview, and I think it just was a lost opportunity for him. I think everybody feels that he has great potential to step up and show some leadership, but we've not really seen the kind of leadership we need, and we'd like to see at this point, I think.
He doesn't have the charisma of the likes of Barack Obama. We all look at Barack Obama with envy and wonder why we can't have one of those over here.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Obama's probably the master at it, and there'll be few equals there. But I think there was a great opportunity for him to connect with the people again and say, look, I am in charge, and here's where we're going. The times have been tough. I think Pat's right. The latter part of the interview, he's found his feet a little bit better.
I think when he was talking about the future, he was an awful lot stronger than when he was talking about the past.